Hello, everyone. Good afternoon if you're from the Philippines, or good morning, or maybe evening if you're from another country. I think it's safer for me to say good day, everyone. Welcome to our Institution of Global Professionals, a free webinar. And thank you all for joining, and please stay with us till the end. Our lovely and awesome audience today, I am your host for this session. I am Divina Garcia, a science teacher here in the Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. And I feel honored and privileged to host this webinar. It is my delight to welcome you all to our Institution of Global Professional free webinar. And once again, thank you for joining us today in this marvelous event. And it's my humble request to please stay with us till the end, for I am sure that you will get and you will have many takeaways and pay off from this webinar. Please like and comment in our webinar, or you can type in any emoji or anything you want to type in the comment box for you to be you know, uh, for just an interaction. And don't forget to tag, share, and mention your friends in the comment box. It's okay to mention one friend, but it will be grateful if you make it five. So let's watch together, listen, and learn together. We believe that power is gained by sharing knowledge, not hoarding it. Once again, I am Davina, a core volunteer member in IGP from the Philippines. I am a science teacher one at Naguilian National High School, La Union. And I am very privileged that it's my first time to host an IGP free webinar and looking forward to more. At first, I was very nervous, but I want to thank this person. I don't know if this is the correct pronunciation of her name, Umm Salma, for encouraging and supervising me. Thank you, ma'am. So before we formally start the webinar, for those who are new here, can you please type in the comment section a heart emoji for you to be recognized, please? For those who are new here, for those who are new to IGP, please comment a heart emoji. Okay, thank you, Raisa May Olenberio. Thank you, Joy Pacoma. So it seems like it's your first time to be here. Welcome. And for those who have already attended IGP webinars, can you please comment uh, or type in on the comment section a happy emoji, because I know that you'll not be here twice if you didn't learn anything from here, right? So can you please comment a happy emoji or a smiley emoji if it's not your first time to be here? Only two are new here. Okay, so I guess some of the participants are a bit shy to type in or comment a heart and smiley emoji. Okay, thank you. Or maybe just it's just my laptop is lagging. That's why I can't see it. Okay, thank you for those who are participating and commenting. I appreciate it. Okay, so every day some new participants join us, so I have to give a little concept about IGP. Okay, so Institution of Global Professionals serves students and community resources, providing holistic social work and education to create a proficient generation. IGP is a leading online skill development institute with thousands of learners worldwide. We make it gettable to use for every knowledge seeker to originate a personality, be more ambitious, be confident to face any circumstance, and develop their own skills. We are interested international recognition. We believe that it's not effective to increase one's skills just by acquiring formal education. We organize our webinar, training, offline, online courses, etc. by best and trained speakers, coaches from all over the world to create a best learning platform for you all. So far, we have already completed 377 webinars successfully, and we expect that you all are getting a little bit benefited in your personal and professional life. And we are hoping to see you in succeeding webinars and looking forward to you guys being the host and the speakers too. You know, I was once a listener, now I am hosting, so I am very happy. And I can wait to hear and to see some of you who will be hosting next. Let me remind you again, don't forget to share, tag, comment, and mention your friends in the comment box because your attachment encourages us to do better and best service to our lovely audience. Please invite your friends, your colleagues. You can mention it. You can mention them now for them to be notified. And okay, so the mission is to enhance and empower our youth to stay with us with your support. Again, I am cordially welcoming you all. And today we are presenting the webinar number 378 on the topic drone, satellite, and rocket technology with our speaker, Mr. Ishant Dubey. Let's start our program with IGP's mantra, feed your skill. Can you type in there, feed your skill or hashtag IGP? Thank you. Again, let's welcome our speaker for today, Mr. Ishant Dubey from India. He is a teaching and technical head of the Department of Satellite and Drone Technology, Space Zone India, Private Limited, Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. I don't know if I pronounced it well. Ladies and gentlemen, you can tap the like or heart reaction to give a warm welcome to Mr. Ishant Dubey. Hello, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So, hello everyone. So, very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever, because you will be joining us from across the world, from the different countries. So, somewhere it will be morning, somewhere it will be afternoon, or maybe evening. So, it may be good morning, or it may be afternoon or evening. Okay, fine. So, myself, Ishan Dubey, and today I'm going to represent Space Zone India, and I'll be talking about basically like about satellites, drones, and rockets. Okay, so actually, before going into the topic, let me introduce what actually Space Zone India is. Okay, so let me share. So, can I share my screen, ma'am? I
Yes,
can
sir.
share a screen. Right? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, my screen is visible, ma'am. Yeah, can you share screen, my screen? Hello, ma'am. Can you see the screen?
So,
Yes, my
yes,
screen is visible,
yes,
ma'am.
I can already see you.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
So,
sir.
hello everyone once again. So, today's topic, as you all know, drone, satellite, and rocket technology. Okay. So, first we'll be talking about drones. Then slowly we'll be moving ahead for satellite, and then we'll be moving ahead for rocket technology. Okay. Myself, Ishan, and I'm going to represent today's Space on India. And further, if you will be having in between any query, any question, so at the last of the when I'll be finishing my session, on that time you can ask your queries and questions whatever you have. Okay, so first let me introduce what is Space Zone India. So Space Zone India is basically a space company which actually provide aerospace related like materials at a low cost and long term solution in the space industry. Okay, and this is basically aerospace based company which actually manufactures satellites and rockets. Okay, and we actually also work for like government school students and universities and college students. We conduct workshops and webinars and many of the events related to make the aware to the peoples what the future technology is like. Drone technology is one of the future leading technology. Like at present, you will be ordering something through online, right? Like Flipkart, Amazon, or whatever new country that online portal will be through which you will be ordering. Okay, so some person will be delivering to that to your place, right? But in future, what will be going to happen if you order something online? some drone, like some machine, flying machine will be coming to your door and it will be delivering you. So what that technology is, so I'll be going to discuss about all the basics and basic fundamental about that. Okay, so before that, if I talk about achievements of Space Drone India, so Space Drone India has successfully actually launched 8 experimental femto satellites in NASA in the year of 2019. So out of that 8 satellites, 3 satellites had been launched in via rocket, and remaining that 5 satellites have been launched through balloon. Okay, and both has been done in the NASA, and that 3 satellite was launched 23rd June 2019, and another that remaining 5 FAM2 satellites that launched through balloon in the Columbia Scientific Balloon NASA's facility, 15 September 2019. So this is what we have done in 2019. And recently, if you are talking about in the year 2021, when everybody was suffering from that pandemic, so we have conducted, like in the month of February 2021, we have launched successfully 100 FAM2 satellites in like in Tamil Nadu, Rameshwaram, where our India's Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji and many of the dignitaries like from ISRO and even from NASA, they have appreciated our mission. And then, if you are talking about our upcoming mission, so we are planning to launch 150 pico satellites in this year. We are planning. Okay, so that is what our upcoming mission. And throughout that, we'll be conducting many of the events. Like recently, we are going to conduct events related to satellite launch only in the month of like next or this month also in India only. It is in Rajasthan. So these are the things which are our achievements. And once again, I before starting, I would like to express my gratitude for IGP team and Space Drone India team that they have given me this opportunity to explore my knowledge, to express my knowledge throughout the world. So once again, thank you and my sincere gratitude to IGP and Space Drone India team. Okay. Fine. So first, I'll be talking about now drones. Okay, so in drones, first I'll be giving the introduction to drones. So this will be the line layout how we'll be moving ahead. So introduction to drones, history of drones, classification of drones, and then application of drones. Okay. Fine. So, what is drone? When the word drone comes into your mind, so what is drone? So you can say like a drone is nothing but it's kind of flying machine. Okay, it's like a, you can say one kind of flying aircraft. So in aircraft or aeroplane, you can say you will be having some passengers, some pilot. But in this flying machine or flying aircraft, there won't be any person or any pilot. Okay, and if you are talking about drone, so in drone will be that another name for drone we called as unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV. Drone is also called as UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle. Okay, and which will be having like that drone will be having some kind of, you can say, brain, which actually we called as in technical term flight controller or your flight board. Okay, and when you're talking about drone, it is a combination of multiple branches. It consists of like electronics, it consists of mechanical part, and it consists of aviation, and even your like avionics, if you're talking about like aviation plus electronics. Okay, and it is an aircraft, as I said, without human pilot. So this won't be carrying any, means this won't be having any pilot. Okay, and it is controlled autonomously, means once you feed the programming inside to that, it will, whatever the path you'll go, it will follow to that path. So that is what autonomous. So we'll be going to control this drone by using computer, or maybe we'll be having remote control. Okay, so we'll be having the transmitter and receiver through it. From the ground, one person will be there, drone pilot will be there, he will be going to control to the drone. Okay, and if you talk about what that drone stands for, so D for like a drone, DRONE. So D for dynamic, R for remotely, O for operated, and N for navigation equipment. Okay, so drone stands for dynamic remotely operated navigation equipment. So this expansion itself explains what actually is drone is. Okay, fine. Next, if you are talking about history of drones, so from where the drones has arrived, that word, or you can say they have taken birth. Okay, so like we have World War, Second World War. So this drone has came built actually came from the war. Okay, like in 1849, if you are talking about Austrians, they were attacking on the Venice. Okay, so they was trying to make the people like without food, and they are continuously that Austrian continuously they was launching like pilotless balloon. So what was happening? They were just launching that pilotless balloons in the Venice city over to the Venice city. But what is happening? It is coming back because there is a heavy wind. Sometime what will happen? Wind will be blowing in the opposite direction. So they will. they will put that balloons in the Venice city, but because of the wind direction, it will blast over to the their own city. So what will happen? They itself having the loss of that. Okay. So apart from that, like sometime what will, then war will happen. So their persons will be lost in that. Soldiers will be there, they will be lost in the war. So like they will go to, suppose some crash will happen, so they will go into the enemy country. So there what will happen, they have to find them where they went. So like for that they cannot do like they will send some aircraft or some fighter aircraft and they will search. So because what will happen, some enemy person, if they will detect, so they will destroy them. So for that what we can send some kind of machine which will be going to that place, and it will be doing the surveillance, like it will be having some camera or some sensors, through that will be detecting it. Okay, so from there that idea of drone comes into the picture. Okay, fine. Okay, next, classification of drones. So when you are talking about drones, so you can basically divide your drones on the three categories. One is like based on structure, another is functional basis, and another one is based on mass. So when you are talking about based on structure, so fixed wing structure, lighter than air system, and rotary wing aircraft. So fixed wing structure, like you see your aircrafts. So fixed wing means aircraft having wing, right? So it is fixed. Like if you see the bird motion, it is flapping, right? So it will what? It will flap. So it is not fixed. But if you see the aircraft or fighter aircraft, in that wing is fixed. So that is what we call as fixed wing structure. And this kind of structure we also call as heavier than air. Because aircraft, if you talk about density or if you talk about weight of the aircraft, so your aircraft is floating into the air. Okay, so the density of the air is like what? It is less as compared to the density of the aircraft. So here, like heavy material is floating into the light material. So that's why we can say aircraft system or your rotary wing. That is what another like helicopter. So that will also comes under the heavier than air system. So fixed wing structure is like your aircraft. Lighter than air system like balloon. So in balloon, it is like you will feel the, like you have seen hot air balloon, right? In that you will be having the hot gas, or you can say like you can fill the helium gas. So what, it will float into the air. So that helium gas, it is very lightweight as compared to the air where that balloon is going to be your float. So you can say this is what lighter air system, lighter than air system. Okay, then rotary wing aircraft. So when you are talking about rotary wing aircraft, so here you have multicopter. So helicopter, we have single rotor. Okay, then two rotors. So two rotors we actually called as bicopter. Okay, rotors we will be having. So three rotors we called as tricopter. Multi rotors means if we have like four motor or maybe four rotors, or you can say motors, or more than four. Okay, so then it will be called multi-rotor. Like if you have four motors, or you can say four propellers or four fan, you can say in simple word. So it will call quadcopter. Four means quad. If it is five, then it is called pentacopter. If it is six, it will call hexacopter. So like that, as the number vary, you can call as the, like whatever the like eight propellers or eight fan will be there, so you can call as octocopter. So that is what, like if you have four or more than four fans or propellers, you can say multi-rotor or multi-copter. Okay. Then functional basis, like what is the purpose of that drone? So the thing is, some drones will be using to destroy something, like how what your missile do. It will destroy something, right? So same thing, that drone will be carrying some kind of like bomb or something like that. It will go and it will strike with that whatever the obstacle is there, and it will destroy that. So that is what, based on that, like another is like you will see like some like in functions like marriage functions, or you can say like your cricket you will be watching, right? So in cricket also they will be taking the they will be using the drones to capturing. So that is for commercial purpose. So based on your purpose, what you are using, your drone you are using, right? So based on that, you can say you have different types of drone, like agriculture. So in the field of agriculture, that farmers are using pesticides to sprinkle that pesticide. So it takes lots of time. So instead of doing that manually, what we can do, we can sprinkle that pesticides over to the harvest that crops with the help of drone. So we can finish that work within a short duration of time, right? So that is what functional basis we can say. There are various types of many types of drones, okay, or your copters. Then based on mass, okay. So based on mass, if you're talking about, so here I have nano drone, micro drone, small drone, medium and large. So you can see based on your mass. whatever the mass will be. Like if you are talking about your drone, like mass is like 250 gram up to 250 gram, it will called as nano. If it is like 250 gram to 2 kg, it will be micro. And if it is 2 kg to 25 kilogram, it will be small. Medium means 25 kilogram to 150 kilogram. And if it is more than that, like it is, if it is more than 250 kilogram, it will be large. Okay, so this is what classification of drone based on your mass. Fine. Next, as I said, like fixed wing structure. So fixed wing structure is like your aircraft. Okay. So now here the thing is, when you are talking about fixed wing structure, we have to do the control. Like we have to take left, we have to take right, we have to take up. Like in aircraft, we'll be having takeoff, we'll be having land, right? So how it happened? Like if you talk about your like motorcycle or car. In car we have steering, right? In bike we'll be having like handle like that. In cycle we have handle. We'll turn, we'll go left. If we turn like this, we go right. Okay. But in aircraft, how it happen? Is there any handle or any steering like that inside the aircraft? So we'll be having some kind of handle, but the thing is we have some control surfaces over the aircraft. Like if you see here, like red color, yellow color, and green color. So these are the control surface through which you are going to control your aircraft to take, or your drone also you can control. Okay. Like if you are to take left, or like see there's a three kind of motion. One is called roll, one is called pitch, and one is called yaw. Okay, so here you can see ailerons is there, that is what red one. Okay, so this ailerons controls roll motion, means suppose your aircraft is going like this. If you want to turn like this, or if you want to turn like this motion, your aircraft is going like this. If you have to turn like this or like this, so this motion is called roll motion, that going to control with the help of aileron. Then if you are talking about, suppose your drone or your aircraft want to go like takeoff and landing. So takeoff means what will happen? Nose up, its nose go up. So that happened because of elevator. Backside you have like yellow color, you can see here. So that is elevator. It will deflect. It will deflect like this. So what will happen when it will go up? So I will explain that how actually that works. It go up and down. Okay. So elevator will help this kind of motion, the takeoff and landing. Okay. Then rudder. So like in fighter aircraft, rudder we basically use in normal aircraft also, but the main purpose that rudder is, you want to take sudden right and left. Okay. Or suppose you want to take the turn like this, aircraft will take turn, right? So on that time, what we'll do, we'll deflect our aileron as well as rudder also. So sudden left right, if you want to take turn like this, so then you can use your rudder, and that kind of motion is called yaw. So because of aileron, we'll be having like roll. Because of elevator, we have pitch up, pitch down, and because of rudder, we have like this sudden left and right. Okay. Fine. Next, lighter than air system, I said like as balloon, in that we'll be filling the air, so it will be floating into the air. Okay, like your balloon, in that will be having like your parachute will be there, hot air balloon will be there, right? And parachute, so it will be gliding into the air. So in balloon, you will be filling the like hot air and helium or hydrogen gas, so it will be floating into the air. So that comes under like lighter than air system. Then rotary wing. So rotary wing like as helicopter, in that your wing will like it will rotate. Okay. Now here in helicopter, if you are talking about, you have backside also one vertical fan, or you can say propeller, that will be small. So why it is like, so we have two fan basically in the helicopter. One is main rotor, another is the secondary rotor, that is vertical one. So what will happen when it will rotate? That main rotor is going to be rotate. So what will happen? Your entire air, that helicopter also going to be rotate. So in order to counterbalance that, backside we'll be having one fan, a small fan. So that will counterbalance, like we'll be having some laws like Newton's third law. So based on that, like action reaction, every action having some equal and opposite reaction, right? So based on that, it will throw the air accordingly, and that because main rotor of that helicopter will be rotating with very high speed. So what will happen? That fuselage body of that helicopter, in which your pilot will be there and passenger will be sitting, that will also will start to rotate along with your that main rotor. So in order to stop, because we don't want to rotate the main body, only that main rotor should have to be rotated. So for that, because of that only, backside will be having one small rotor, vertical direction. So that will rotate, and it is going to push some air backside or maybe forward. It's depend on in which direction it is, and then it will be controlling that motion. Okay. Next, rotary wing. So rotary wing, I said like another is like this quadcopter drone type. So you can see here many of the pictures in that single rotor like helicopter, two rotors. So we call it as like orange color. You can see in that fan is there. Okay. So that is two rotors. Bicopter, you can say three rotors mean tricopter. Then multi-rotor means you will be having four or more than four. So you can see here quadcopter is there. Four means it will be called quadcopter. Then if it is six means it will be hexacopter. Okay. Fine. Functional basis, as I was saying, target and decoy. Okay, so you want to target something and you have to destroy that. So for that, you can say one category of drone. Another like providing battlefield intelligence. We will be going to do the surveillance, combat. Okay, providing attack capability for high risk mission. Then logistics. UAV is especially designed for cargo and logistic operations. Research and development, like what we do, you can suppose you want to observe the atmospheric data, like 500 meters. Suppose if you go 500 meter, what is the pressure, temperature, density, and UV radiations. So what you can do, you can use drone. You can fix some sensors, like you can use drone, and that some cubes will be there like that. I can show you here, like you can see these cubes, like this cubes. So it will be sensing your data, like pressure, temperature, density. So at one particular altitude, you can carry that with the help of drone, and you can get the data. So that is what comes under research and development. Civil and commercial, like if you, as I said, in future you'll be ordering something, so it will be going to deliver by using drones. Okay, so you can see functional basis, there are different categories of drones. Okay, fine. Now let's talk about components of drone. Okay, so in drones, what are the component, like, so you can see here in the picture I had done the numbering 1 2 3 4 like that. Okay, so here one, like you can see frame, one is called as frame. ESC means electronic speed controller. Okay, so second number, electronic speed controller. So electronic speed controller means like we have to control the speed of the each propeller. That fan will be there, so that will be connected with motor, BLDC motor. So we have to control, like from the remote where we transmitter will be controlling, right? So sometime we want high speed, sometime we want low speed. So we cannot do directly that. So for that we require ESC, electronic speed controller, to control the speed of motor. Then propellers means that is what fan 3 you can see. Then XT90 or XT60 cable connector. So it is for like in battery, when you will be connecting battery, yellow color you can see here. So that is like it will be XT90 or XT60. So if it is like 3 cell and 4 cell battery, okay, so it will be basically having like XT60, that the yellow color you can see, right? That like that connectors will be there. And if it is like 6 cell and more than that maybe, so it will be your like XT90 connectors will be there. So XT90 or XT60 is one kind of connector. Then BLDC motor. So we are brushless direct current motor, we'll say. Okay, BLDC motor. Then jumping wires means we have to connect like our flight controller, that main brain you can say, and then receiver. So both you have to connect through the wires. Okay, so that jumping, it will be jumping from one place to another. So jumping wire, flight control, that is what your board. So there are various flight controllers are available in the market, like KK board, Fixa, NASA DJI. So you can use anyone. Okay, so every for different boards, there's a different procedure how to install that. Okay, so you can use anyone. Then transmitter and receiver to control that. So receiver is going to be placed inside the drone, means in the drone, and transmitter, you that pilot, or if you are going to fly, so you will be holding the transmitter. GPS, like for you want to track what is the position, what is the longitude and latitude, and what is the altitude. So global positioning system. Then GPS stand, to hold to that GPS will be having a stand, that is what 11th number. And then finally LiPo battery and battery charger. Okay, so like here we'll be having a rechargeable battery, means once you used it again you can recharge it. Okay, so LiPo battery, LiPo means lithium polymer. And for that here I will be, when I will be talking about that LiPo battery, right? So we have to do the balance charging. So for that we require separate charger, like when you are ordering some mobile, right? So in that you will be getting charger also, right? So why it is so? Why? It means you can do that also, right? You can only purchase mobile and charger you can separately. No, you have to do the balance charge. Otherwise, the life of the battery of your mobile, it will be less. Okay, if you are not using that. So we have to very careful about the balancing of the charging of the battery. Okay, so for that we require some battery charger separate. Okay, so these are some basic components which you require if you are planning to build your own drone. Okay. Next, let's talk about working principle of drone. Okay, so here the thing is, like we have, as I said, like we have multicopter. Okay, I'm not going to talk about single rotor and double rotor and your tricopter. And here, as you can see here, I'm going to talk about multicopter. Okay, so here you can see the four motors are there, or you can say four fans, like two greens and two blue. So here you can see the CW and CCW. So here, like first thing, you have to do the arrangement of motors when you are going to fix, right? Like if I will show you. Okay, fine. Okay, so like here you can see four propellers and four fans is there. Okay, so here you have to fix the motor or your propeller. So like one motor should rotate in clockwise direction, one motor should rotate in anti-clockwise. That is what counterclockwise. Then again next should have to be rotate clockwise. Then again it should be counterclockwise. So like that arrangement we have to do. Okay, so that is what CW means clockwise. Then CCW counterclockwise. Like here you can see this. I'm showing you here. So this is hexacopter. You can see here 6 hands are there. So here we will be fixing the motor. So here this is like if you are fixing here like clockwise, so next will be anti-clockwise, means counterclockwise. This will be clockwise, again anti-clockwise. So it will be like this. You have to do the arrangement of motor. Okay. Now here you can see like if you are talking about four motors, in that two configuration is there, like plus configuration and X configuration. So you have to select the configuration, which configuration if you are going for quadcopter, okay, and another other copters also, okay. So that is the thing. Okay. So arrangement of motor. After that, what you have to do, you have to that propeller. Like if you are able to see here, I'm showing you. You can see here. So I have two propeller in my hand, right? So here one propeller will be clockwise, one will be counterclockwise. Okay. So you have to identify which one is clockwise, which one is anti-clockwise, because in the frame of that drone, you will identify where you are going to fix motor, and that motor which direction it is going to be rotated. If motor is rotating clockwise but in that you are fixing anti-clockwise propeller, then it is wrong. So another step is you have to attach your correct propeller. If your motor is rotating clockwise, means you should fix clockwise propeller only, and that clockwise you can see it is called as pusher. Okay. And counterclockwise means puller. Puller means like in the door you have seen, right? Pull means you will pull like this, and push means like this. Okay. Pusher means it will take your drone forward. Puller means it will come back. Okay. So now here in the case of propeller, what you have to do, you have to identify which one is clockwise, which one is anti-clockwise. So here I will show you small propeller so you can understand. So like suppose I will ask you what propeller this is. This is clockwise or anti-clockwise. Okay. So here what you have to do in order to identify that, you have to see the leading edge and trailing edge. Okay. So your propeller will always rotate in the direction of leading edge. In which direction? Leading edge. So here if you see this propeller, you can see in my hand which I have. Okay. So here this is somewhat curve, right? And it is somewhat, you can see from here it is bending. Okay. And if you see like this, so here this part is somewhat like this part is somewhat above and this part is somewhat down. Okay. So this part which is above, that is what you called as leading edge. You can see here this is leading edge, and the part which is downside, that is trailing edge. So now here you can see this is trailing edge, I mean this is leading edge and this is trailing edge. So this propeller will rotate like this. But if you are trying to rotate this propeller like this is wrong. So leading edge for this blade, if you are talking about leading edge, is this one. This is trailing edge. So this propeller is going to rotate like this. Okay. And same side, if this side you will talk about, means this side. So this propeller is means is if this blade you look for, so this is leading edge, this is trailing edge. So this means if this blade if you are talking about, so this will go like this and this side will go like this. So it will rotate like this. Okay. So actually this propeller will give this kind of rotation. So this is actually clockwise. So this propeller is clockwise. So based on your leading edge and trailing edge, you can identify which propeller is your clockwise and which is anti-clockwise. So you have to fix accordingly in your motor, whatever drone frame you are choosing, accordingly you have to fix it. Okay. So that is what second one is, attaching propeller. So clockwise and anti-clockwise means counterclockwise. Next, we have to talk about some forces, because when you are talking about your aircraft, or maybe you are talking about rocket, or you are talking about UAV or drone, there are basically four forces are acting over to it. Okay, so upward force, lift, like most of you have travel. If you go to cinemas and some malls, the lift is there, right? Will be going to some floor, one floor to another floor. So it is kind of like that. Okay, so here lift means upward force. Like in aircrafts, it is floating into the air, right? So some force is there which is allowing the aircraft or some drone, or you can say your rocket, to float into the air. So that force is lift. Okay. Then opposite to that, like because of the structural weight, aircraft having some weight, right? So because of that, some weight will be acting. Okay, some force will be acting. You can say weight is nothing but force. So some force will be acting toward the center of the earth. Okay, so that will be your weight. Okay, so that comes because of the structural weight. Your aircraft is there, in that many component, like engine will be there, your wing will be there, then your fuselage is there, vertical tail, horizontal tail. So because of all this structure, you will be in some weight, like our body itself having some kind of weight, right? We say our weight is like 60 kg, like that, right? So same like that. So downward force will be weight. Then forward is thrust, which actually comes because of the engine. Okay, thrust comes because of the engine, which will help to propel the aircraft to move in the forward direction. Then drag, like when you ride your bicycle, or when you go for like motorcycle, so air will be coming in opposite direction, which will oppose to you, right? Which will oppose to your motion. So that force you can like as a resistance, right? So here in the case of like when you're talking about arrow, okay, like aircraft and rocket and your drone, so that resistance force is called as drag. Okay. So you can see here basically four forces are acting. Now out of these four forces, we have basically two forces which called as aerodynamic force, okay, which called as aerodynamic force, okay. So here like aerodynamic force is nothing but the force which is going to generate by the your air, okay, the force which is going to generate by the air. So here if you're talking about thrust, so thrust is basically going to generate by the engine. So thrust is not a aerodynamic force. Weight comes because of the aircraft, that aircraft structure is there because of that. So weight is coming because of the structure. So weight is also not an aerodynamic force. But if you are talking about lift and drag, so lift comes because of the air, and drag also comes because of the air, because lift is coming because of the flow of the air over to the aircraft, and drag in the opposite direction, like when aircraft is moving, opposite air will be coming. So drag and lift basically comes because of the air. So we can say lift and drag both are the aerodynamic forces, okay. So lift and drag are the aerodynamic force, and thrust and weight is not a aerodynamic force, okay. So these are the basic four forces acting on your aircraft or airplane, or you can say your rocket, or you can say your drone, okay. A working principle of drone. Now if you're talking about drone, okay, just a second. Okay, fine. So, working principle of drone. Okay, so when we are talking about like suppose if I will show you, you can see here a small drone is there in my hand. Okay, so it is going to forward. It is going come back. It is going like this. It will be going like this, right? And then it will be going like this. This is what if it is going up. So this is what lift is acting, upward force, right? So now here we can say climbing, declining, and hovering. So hovering means it is at some one place into the air like this. It is like that. It is stable into the air. So this is what we call as hovering. Like when your total force which is acting in upward action, and mg is nothing but your weight. So weight equals to your upward force. So that is what case we call as hovering, means it is floating just like this into the air. Now climbing means when it is going like this, means your upward force, that is what lift you can say, which is greater than your mg, mass into gravity, acceleration due to gravity. So weight is less, your force is more, that lift upward force is more, so it will go like this. So that is what we call as climbing. Then declining means when it will be coming down. So like in that case, when it is coming down means your weight is more as compared to your upward force, that is what your lift. So that is what we call descending, or you can say declining. So this is how your ascending and descending, and then your hovering will be there. So three operations. Then after that we'll be having like this motion. We are going left, we are going right, it is coming, it is approaching to you, it is approaching to me. So these are the one, your motions will be there in your aircraft, or you can say drone, okay. Okay, now let's talk about like as I said, like in your bicycle or your motorcycle, okay, you will be having like, or in your car you will be having steering or handle, right? So through that you can take the left, right. But in aircraft how it is going to be, or in drone how it will be. So like basically we say we have three axes: x axis, y axis, and z axis. So in terms of aircraft and drone, if you are talking about, so that x axis we called as longitudinal axis, x axis we called as longitudinal axis, y axis we called as lateral axis, and vertical axis we called as like that is what z axis, okay. So along this x axis we will be having motion, like roll motion, pitch motion, yaw motion, okay. So if it is like if your aircraft is, suppose your drone is going like this, or aircraft is going like this, if it is turning like this motion is called roll motion, and that is actually comes along the longitudinal axis, okay. Similarly, when you are talking about pitch means pitch up, pitch down means your aircraft is going to be land. So what will happen, it knows that aircraft nose will go down, or aircraft nose like takeoff time, what will happen, aircraft nose will go up. So this is pitch up, this is pitch down. So that happen along the lateral axis, okay. And then finally we have the vertical axis. So like suppose your drone is rotating like this, like see, this is anti-clockwise and this is clockwise. So if it is rotating like this, okay, if it is dancing like this into the air, okay, so it is happening along the vertical axis, and that is what z axis, and this kind of motion we call as yaw motion, okay. So this is what axis of rotation of flight will be there. Three axis like longitudinal, lateral, and vertical in the case of drone or aircraft, you can say, okay. So you can see here, like I have compared that aircraft motion with the drone. So you can see yaw, if you are looking at, so from the top you can see yaw means I said it will be rotating like this. Okay. In the case of aircraft, you can see in the picture, aircraft will go like this or like this. Okay. So that is yaw motion. So if you are talking about pitch, so pitch means suppose it is going like this. So takeoff and landing of the aircraft. So takeoff time, the aircraft will be nose up, and when it is going to be land, it is like this, so nose down. So that is called pitch down or pitch up motion. Okay, so aircraft also will be like that. Okay, and drone will be having like that pitch. Then roll. So roll means, like you can see, when you are standing in front of the aircraft. Okay, when you are standing in front of the aircraft, so what will happen, your aircraft will bend like this or maybe like this. Or you can talk about drone also. If it is going like this, suppose your motion of the drone is like this, and if it is turned like that and go like this, or it go like this, so this will call as, like if your drone is tilting like this and going right, so it is roll right. If it is going left, so we'll say roll left. So you can see here, this kind of motion is called as roll, and this comes along the your longitudinal axis. Okay, so roll comes along the longitudinal axis, yaw comes along the means your vertical axis, and pitch comes along the lateral axis. Okay, now controlling of drone. So we'll be having like a remote, or you can say transmitter. So we have different types of mode: mode 1, mode 2, mode 3, mode 4. So here you can see throttle is there, aileron is there, elevator is there, rudder is there. So aileron basically means it is a control surface over to the wing. Like if you are talking about aircraft, so in that it will bend. Two ailerons will be there. One is in the left side of the wing, one will be in the right side of the wing. So one will go down, so another will go up. So that will create roll motion. Okay, throttle means increasing the speed of the engine, or you can say speed of the propeller in case of your drone. And elevator means, that is what, pitch up, pitch down. So elevator will be there, elevator and radar, where it will be in aircraft backside will be having vertical stabilizer, means vertical, you can say tail, and horizontal tail. So in the horizontal tail you will be having elevator, and in the vertical tail you will be having the rudder. So this rudder will deflect, means you will be having yaw motion, and if elevator will deflect like this, you will be having the pitch up and pitch down motion. So on the basis of your transmitter mode, your that throttle control and this all the four control is going to be changed. It may be left side or it may be right side. So if you look at like mode one, so in mode one your aileron is like right side, right? But if you look at mode three transmitter, in that aileron is left side. So it will change. It will depend on like who is like some person will be writing with the help of right hand. Some person will be writing having the habit of writing with the left hand. So it's depend on practice, which is like perfect for you. You can use that. So based on mode, this four operations, like that is what aileron and throttle and elevator rudder, they are going to be changed. Okay, fine. Next, application of drones. So like if you design the drone, so where we are going to use. So as I said, like when you are talking about like we have talked about not different types of drone based on like your structure, based on your application, and based on your mass. So based on application, so like defense you can use it, like in the like border areas, right? So there are a lot of conflicts will be there between two countries. So there for surveillance, like you can fix the camera in the drone and you can do the surveillance. Okay, then emergency and disaster management, like suppose somewhere tsunami or earthquake or some like flood has come, so we cannot go manually to that place. Okay, so what we can do, we can send that our drone, and that will be carrying camera, it will be capturing the pictures, and it will be capturing the video, and we can get the what is the situation is there over there. Okay, urban planning. Okay, so planning we can do for this, like even urban and rural planning we can do. Okay, for that, how the layout of the city and how the layout of the village will be. Surveillance, as I said, like capturing some areas. Okay, with the fixing of camera and capturing the video and images. Marketing and advertising. So now, like if you're talking about in India, okay, so in India, like during Republic Day and like your Independence Day, what they will be doing, they will be using aircraft, and they will be making Indian flag, and they will be making some pictures with the help of like spraying that colors and flowers from the height, from the with the help of your fighter aircraft. Okay, so now what they are going to do, they are going to use the drone. Okay, they'll throw that flowers and colors, and they will do with the help of that now. And you can do the advertisement also, like some of the news channel, if you talk about, like they will use drone also, like when they want to do the screening and all those. So that is also marketing and advertisement. Okay, uske baad aerial cinematography, like you can talk about like in marriage, if your marriage function, you can see, right? So marriage function, capturing the video and all those. So that comes under that. Agriculture, so like sprinkling your pesticides, so you will make the work for farmers easy, right? What the work which they are doing manually, it was taking a lot of time, but if you are using drone, you can reduce that time which is going to be consumed to do all those work. Okay, healthcare. So suppose like some sudden some accident, road accident happened, so a lot of traffic will be there, so that person requires some blood or some like emergency operation has to be do. Okay, so on the time what, we cannot travel through the road. On the time what we can, suppose we require urgent blood. Okay, some certain blood group. Okay, so on that what through the drone, because your hospital will be, maybe it will be far. Okay, so what you can do, you can call to that particular hospital, and if it is available, so through the drone it will fly, so that traffic problem will not come, so we can save the life of a person. Okay, so that is what healthcare. What weather forecasting means, like forecasting your weather means based on your whatever the your past and present data is available, so we can predict the future, like how the weather will be tomorrow. If I mean, like how will be, how much it will be hot, or how much it will be like low temperature. Like evening it will be somewhat low, and morning if you are talking about, it will be somewhat high. So the temperature you can. Then mining. So mining you can use, then logistics. Okay, for like your transporting and all those things. Like you are going to order something online. So nowadays generally person will come. Some person will come to your door and deliver. But in future some drone will be coming. Okay, to your door and it will be delivering. Okay, so it is going to be based on machine work. Okay, so these are the few of the applications of drone. Okay, so this is what all about drones. Okay, next now we'll be talking about satellite. Okay, so when the satellite comes into your mind, what do you think? What do you mean by satellite? What is satellite? Okay, so satellite, if you talk about, you can say satellite is also one kind of machine, or you can say it is a one kind of small object. Okay, it is one kind of small object which actually revolve around the some larger object. Okay, what is satellite? Satellite is one kind of small object which actually revolve around some larger object. Okay, so like if you're talking about your moon, our Earth having moon, right? So what moon do? If you compare the size of the Earth and moon, so size of the moon is quite small as compared to your Earth, right? And what moon do? It revolve around the Earth. So here you can say moon is nothing but your satellite. Okay, similarly, like if we're talking about Earth, what it do around the sun? It revolves around the sun. And now, if you compare the size of the sun and Earth, so because your Earth and all the planets we are talking, it comes from the sun, because many years ago that collision happened, right? So because of that only these planets has originated, right? So the Earth is a part of sun only. So if you talk about size of the Earth, it's very small as compared to the size of the sun. So now again, small body is revolving around the larger body. So you can say Earth is also one kind of satellite. Okay. So what you can say, what is satellite? Satellite is nothing but it's one kind of small object which is revolving around the larger object. That is what your satellite. Okay. Next, types of satellite. So basically, we can say we have two types of satellites. One is natural satellite, another is artificial satellite. So here the thing is like that object which I was talking about, small object, it may be created by nature, like moon, Earth, and all whatever remaining planets, like 8 planets we have, Jupiter, Saturn. These all you can say created by nature, or you can say God, right? So and another is like if one small object which is going to create or build or manufacture by human, we will build it and we will send it into the space. So that you can say as an artificial satellite. So the satellite which is created by nature, you can say as a natural satellite, and the satellite which is actually created by humans, we humans create and send into the space, and then it will revolve around some object like Earth, or it may be Mars, or it may be Sun, or it may be whatever the planet is. Okay, or it may be whatever the larger object is. Okay, so that is what artificial. So natural satellite created by nature, which is revolving some around some larger object, and artificial is it is a small object which is actually created by humans and sending into the space. Okay, so natural satellite, if you are talking about, the best example is your moon. Moon is revolving around the Earth. Then Earth is orbiting or revolving around the sun. So Earth is also your one kind of natural satellite. Okay, so all the planets, Jupiter, Neptune, or your Saturn, all the planets are your natural satellite. Artificial satellite which we create, like one of the example is like your ISS, International Space Station, where astronauts go and stay for some time and do some research work and come back to the Earth. So that is what your ISS, which is actually at the approximate altitude of 400 kilometer, right? So that is one kind of artificial satellite. So like your communication satellite is weather satellite, navigation satellite. So these all has been created by built by humans. So satellites which is built by humans called as artificial, and which has been created by nature called as natural satellite. Okay. So basically we have two kinds of satellites. Okay, so you can see here what I explained in the previous slide, that is in terms of pictorial representation. You can see here Jupiter having like Ganymede, Europa, Io, and then if you are talking about Saturn having the largest moon, that is called as Titan. It having many moons, okay, but Saturn, the largest moon is like a Titan. Earth, you are talking about moon. So like that, the planets are there, they having their own moons. Okay, Okay, next types of artificial satellite. Okay, so artificial means which is created by humans. We create and send into the space. So that is also having different kinds, different types based on mass. So types of artificial satellites according to the mass. So here we can categorize the satellites in three types: large satellite, medium-sized satellite, and small satellite. So large satellites are those satellites which having the mass, you can say, or weight, you can say, more than 1000 kg. So whatever the satellites which having mass more than 1000 kg, though, that all the satellite comes under the category of large satellite. Okay, like your ISS, International Space Station. So it will be having like more than 1000 kg. Okay, so it will come like 4000 something. It will come tons, in terms of tons. It will become. Okay, then medium size satellite, if you're talking about, so it will be like 500 kilogram to 1000 kilogram. Okay, so in between whatever the satellite will be will be there, and they having mass in between of that, so you can say medium size satellite. Then small satellite, so in small satellites, so the satellite which having the mass less than 500 kg, you can say small satellite. And in small satellite you have various types like mini satellite, micro satellite, nano satellite, cube satellite, pico satellite, femto satellite. So, like as I said, in 2019, Space Zone India has launched its 8 satellites in NASA. So that is what actually FAM2 satellite. Then in the month of 2021 February, that we have launched 100 FAM2 satellites. So that was FAM2. So now this year, as I said, we are planning to launch Pico satellites. So based on mass, we can categorize a small satellite. So if you are talking about mini satellite, so 100 kilogram to 500 kilogram, we say mini satellite. Micro satellite means 10 kilogram to 100 kilogram. Nano satellite 1 to 10 kg. Cube satellite 500 gram to 1 kg. Pico satellite means 50 gram to 0.5 kilogram. And femto satellite, if you are talking about, less than 50 gram. So these are the types of artificial satellite based on mass. Okay. Okay, next let's talk about application of satellite. So what is the purpose of satellite launching? So we have various purpose. Okay, like navigation purpose you're talking about, like GPS, global positioning system, right? So our GPS, actually, if you're talking about GPS, it consists of 26 satellites. Okay, and out of 26 satellites, which will be actually covering entire Earth, and out of the 26 satellite will be having 10 satellites, which will be going to track the receiver, GPS receiver, to one particular object in which it is fixed. Like in movies, you have seen, right? Police will be catching the thief, so they will be tracking to that person by putting some kind of a small object. You can say that is actually GPS receiver, so they can track what is the position. So that is navigation satellite, right? Then if you are talking about like Earth observation, so in Earth observation, many applications like you can see here on the screen, like agriculture and soil. So like a crop production forecast. So forecast means you are going to predict the future, how the crop will be in the future, based on what? Based on your whatever the crop happened in the past and at the present, how the condition of that crop is. So based on that data, whatever available, past data and present data, so we can predict the future. So that is what forecasting. So for crop we can do horticulture development, some people do we will be having like fruits, nuts, vegetable, flowers. For that they will be doing that crops or agriculture like that. So that part comes horticulture development. So you can do the mapping for that. Then cartography, design the art of drawing maps. Will be having maps, right? Like India map, some other country map, like that. So art of drawing the maps. So you can do draw the maps. Like here, you will be having large scale mapping. Like you will be having GPS, right? In your mobile, you will be having Google Map. So if you want to go to some place, so you will type that and reach to that. So you'll see in that near to that area which is your destination, many things will come. Shops will come, streets will come, hospital will come, many things will come. So here you will be having two kinds of mapping, like in cartography, when you are going to design your maps. So large scale mapping and small scale mapping. Large scale mapping means like you will be having very small area. Like suppose you talk about near to your home, you just take one map near to your home area. So near to your home, what are the things will be there? So that area is very small. You are going to focus in very small area, like near to your home. So that area is very small, but in that area you have lot of many information, because near to your home, what are the things will be there? Lots of many streets will be there, lots of many shops will be there, maybe hospitals will be there, and many things. So a small area is going to carry more information. So that is what you are going to represent in terms of map in a small piece of paper. So that is what called large scale mapping. Small scale mapping, like your world map, you have covered entire area of the earth in single small piece of paper, right? So you are covering more area, but in the world map, if you look, some countries name and continents name only will be there, means less information. So when you are covering like very large area, land area, with some very limited information, that is what called small scale mapping. So you can do that. Then topo map updation. Okay, so topo map means like you have to decide the height of the mountain. Mountains will be there, right? So based on the, we'll be having like some lines. We'll be having some lines. So based on that, we can decide the what is the shape of the mountain, what is the shape of the, like what is the height of the mountain. So that all the things we can do in the topo map updation. Then like ocean and meteorology, if you're talking about, so potential fishing zone. So we'll be having fishermen. So where they should approach, so they will get more fish, right? So that is what potential fishing zone, that is what you can do the mapping. Ocean state forecast, so like what is the surface temperature of ocean, how that waves will be there, how much height it will be going, how much energy is it is going to be carrying. So that all the things you can do with the help of this earth observation satellite. Extended range monsoon prediction, like your rainy season will be coming, right? So they will say tomorrow monsoon will be coming, or day after tomorrow monsoon will be coming. So that you can predict it. Then bioresource and environment, so like how much land area is going to covering by forest. So that for forest cover mapping you can do. Coastal and mangrove, so how, like you have different types of forest, right? Like one of the mangrove ones, right? So mangrove, like how much area it is covering, so that is what mangrove. Then coastal, coastal means like many of the country it is touching with the, they will be having sea coastal area, right? So what is the length of that? So that you can do the mapping with the help of your this earth observation satellite. Okay, then snow and glaciers, so many of the country having like hilly areas, so there will be having like snow and glaciers, like a thick layer of that ice. So that will be melting, like we have the global warming issue, right? Increasing the temperature. Because of that, what is happening, that glaciers are keep on melting. So what is happening? Because of that, the sea level, the water level of the seas and rivers, it is keep on increasing. So because of that, what will happen? The land area which is like sea coastal area, that is going inside the water, like after some time, like Tamil Nadu, that Madras region is there, right? Chennai, it is going inside the water after some time. Because of that, what? Increasing the level of the water. So that is what we can do the mapping for that. How much time duration it will take, it will happen. Okay, then geology and mineral resources. Geology means you are going to study the earth, like through which material it is made of, like your earth is made of some material. What is the shape of that material, and with respect to time, with the over period of time, how that material will change its property and shape, that you can study. Landslide, like some like heavy rainfall will be there. So in hilly area, what will happen? Your that heavy rocks will come down. So that is what you can do that in the case of when heavy rainfall will be there. Then oil exploration, like many of the country having that what your petroleum, they were having lots of petroleum, right? So that exploration you can do. Seismotectonic studies, like you will be having like some regions are like their earthquake will come like it will come time to time. Okay, like every month maybe it will be small like vibration they can feel because of the collision of tectonic plates, right? So like if this much of magnitude of the earthquake will be there, so how much uh, how much that whatever the reasons are there, they are going to affect. What will be the impact of the tectonic plates when they are going to collide with each other with some speed? So that you can do the you can relate it, like if this much of magnitude of that your earthquake will come, this much of your effect will be there, this much will be the impact. So that studies you can do. Okay, then rural development, like in the villages area, what is the drinking water percentage is there, like some of the lands will be there which is not in use, that is wasteland. So we can utilize that and we can update that, right? And then land record modernization, which like now in villages also, if you see now, they are like their homes are, they are changing. Before it was like hut sit. Now they are now in the villages, your homes are like how in the cities. So like your villages also, what is happening in villages, they are also getting modernized, right? So we can do this all kind of mapping with the help of satellites. And what example here I talk, this is all comes under earth observation, right? Okay. Some of more application of satellite broadcasting, like internet services is there. Then you see that what live coverage news, right? Then communication, disaster rescue, then your tracking, maritime affairs, emergency and safety. So all this is possible because of the satellite. Okay. Okay, now next is satellite system. So when you are talking about satellite system, okay, so in satellite system, like you'll be having two part, payload and mainframe. Okay, so payload is what? So you can divide your satellite into two part, payload and mainframe. So payload is nothing but it is an object which is actually like when you are suppose you are talking, you are going to launch your satellite. So when your rocket is standing on the ground and it will be carrying the satellite, right? So in that case, you are talking about what is payload. So it is the object which is useful for us. Okay, in case of like rocket, satellite will be useful for us. So we can say in the case of rocket, my satellite will be the payload. Now when you are talking about satellite, so in satellite what will be the payload? So payload will be the in the case of satellite, payload will be the object which will give some information or we'll get something from that, because in satellite many things will be there. So all the things will not called as payload. So the things which will be giving some information to us, which will be getting something output. Okay, so what will be giving the output? Like a camera will be there, some sensors will be there. So sensors and camera will be called as your payload, and remaining part will be just for driving the satellite system. Okay, so that is what payload. So like if you are talking about rocket, so in the case of rocket, what will be useful for us? Rocket also useful because it will take the satellite to some particular altitude, but out of that rocket, satellite is important for us. From that only we are going to get the information. So in the case of rocket, my payload will be satellite. Then for satellite, my payload will be like a camera or sensor, you can say. And if you're talking about bus, so in bus you will be having passenger. So in the case of bus, you can say passenger are your payload. Then mainframe. Now the thing is, you are going to fix that camera to some platform, right? In satellite, some place you are going to fix your camera or sensor. So you require some structure or some body structure. Like our human body, if you talk about, we have bones. So bones will give the support to our body. Same thing, that payloads also require some support. So for that we require mainframe. Like you can say skeleton, right? Skeleton. So that is what mainframe. Now in mainframe you have some more systems. So inside the system you have another system, that is what we call as subsystem. Okay. So like you have thermal protection, like you have to save your satellite, you have to protect your satellite from the temperature, because when you go some height, different layer of earth atmosphere, you will be having got different reason, like troposphere is there, stratosphere is there, exosphere is there, thermo, meso, like that layers of the atmosphere. So when you pass through the different layers, your temperature is going to be vary. So temperature will be different. Okay, so you have to protect your satellite from the temperature. For that, thermal protection is required. Okay, then mechanism is there. Altitude and orbit control means you have to control your orientation of the satellite. Then propulsion means you have to, when it will launch into the space in a orbit, in particular orbit, so you have to control its like orientation. If it will deflect like this, it has to come back. So that is what attitude and orbit control. Propulsion, you have to increase the speed of the satellite, or you have to decrease the speed of the satellite. That is what comes under the propulsion. Then power, so to run the entire system of the satellite, it requires some power like batteries or solar panels, right? Then telemetry, so like your information, whatever the information going to capture by the satellite, that should transfer to the ground, right? So that is what telemetry and telecommand will be. Then finally we'll be having the communication. Okay, so these are the satellite system. So you can see, for rocket case, my payload will be like satellite. For satellite case, my payload will be like sensors and camera. For aircraft case, you will be talking about, so you can say your passengers and their cargo and their luggages will be the payload. And in the case of bus, our passengers will be the payload. So satellite subsystems. Okay, when you're talking about now I said satellite system, that is what payload and mainframe. So inside the system we have another system, that is what you can say subsystem. So inside the satellite subsystem we have power system, which will provide the power. Then attitude and orbit control means you have to control the orientation of the satellite. Then you have to increase or decrease the satellite speed in the orbit. So for that we require small thrusters, that is what propulsion. The thermal protection, we have to protect our satellite from the temperature, various temperature. So for that you can see in the satellite they will be giving the gold foil, that covering, so that will protect from the temperature. So it will be having like MLI, multi-layer insulation will be there. Okay, so that will protect our satellite from the different temperature. Then structure is required, that is necessary, because here you are going to fix your payloads and all those things. Okay, so structure, so these all comes under the subsystem. Okay, then payload satellite design travel, how actually your satellite works. So what will happen, your payload will be there like camera and sensor, it will capture the information. Then it will go to the, it will store somewhere, right? So like you can say like brain. So design driver, it will be going, then it will be going to the bus system. From the bus system, through the telecommand and telemetry, your data is going to transfer to the ground. So like if you look at here, payloads must be finally held on to the platform. So for our entire satellite setup, we require a structure where the platform is going, where the structure is going to carry the payload. Then after that, we have to control the orientation of the satellite. For that, we have the ADCS, attitude determination control system. So we have to, like, because your satellite, it will definitely, it will fluctuate, it will it will deflect from its path or maybe orientation. So we have to take it back to the same orientation. Like if it is deflected like that or deflected like that, so we have to take it come back like this. So that is what ADCS system, attitude determination control. Then RF system, we require like a radio frequency system, means whatever the data is going to carry by the payload, that should reach to the ground station. So for that we require radio frequency system, that communication. Finally, powering of payload means we have to give the power to the payload, right? We have to give the power to the payload. We have to run that our satellite. All the what are the components are there, they require power. So for that we require power system. Maybe it will be maybe solar panel, or it may be like your rechargeable battery, okay, like lithium ion battery or maybe nickel cadmium battery, okay, that one. Then finally we'll be having thermal control, means we have to control that like we have to protect our satellite from the that radiations and temperature, whatever it is there, because from the sun a lot of harmful radiation will be coming. So we have to protect our system, our satellite. So for that what we have to do, sometime what will happen, we have to cool the temperature, means temperature will be high, so we have to cool it. Sometime we have to do the heating, means sometime heating is required in the satellite system, or sometime cooling is required. Also means we have to do the temperature maintenance. For that thermal control will be there. And finally what is going to happen, when the data is stored and it goes to the design driver, then finally what will happen, it will go to the bus system, and finally from there your all the data, everything is going to transfer to the ground through the help of telecommand and telemetry. Okay, now as I was talking about RF system, radio frequency system. So when you're talking about communication of satellites, so most of the satellite basically work on the like frequency. Okay, so it comes under microwave frequency band. Okay, like L band is there, SCX2K. So like most of the your satellites, or you can say your communication satellites are there, right? So they will be working in this frequency band range. Okay, like RF system is there, you have to communicate, right? You have to send your data to the ground. So we require some kind of frequency. So that band, frequency band is, it comes under microwave. Okay, and then apart from that, some of the satellite having the frequency band like in the UHF, ultra high frequency, and some of the your satellite work based on your VHF, very high frequency. So these are the, so generally if you are talking, you can say like like 200 300 to 400 megahertz, your most of the satellite having the frequency band when you are talking about RF system. So they, you most of the satellite operates between the 300 megahertz to your 400 megahertz. Okay, and microwave frequency band also most of the satellites will be having. Like basically, if you are talking about communication satellites. Okay, then electronic power system, to provide the power. Okay, you have to provide the power to your entire system, right? So when you're talking about EPS, so from where you will get the power for your satellite, so you'll be having solar panel. So your source will be the solar panel. That light will be coming from the your sun, it will be falling onto the solar panel, and then we'll be having law of conservation of energy. Okay, so one energy is converting into another energy, so we'll be having light energy, solar panel is going to convert that into electrical energy. So here we'll be having main power source as a solar panel, solar cell you can say. And then another, in case suppose your satellite has went into the dark region, okay, where the sunlight is not reaching properly. So on that case, you can use rechargeable battery to run your power system, to run to operate your satellite system. Okay, so in EPS, if you are talking about, you have basically four parts: power source, energy storage, power distribution, power regulation, and control. Power source means main power from where it is coming. So main power source will be your that solar panel. Then like you have to, like as a your like what is there, like in case I said now, if it will go in the dark region, you need some storage, you can you can use that, like a rechargeable battery will be there, like your lithium ion batteries will be there. So in case your solar panels are not producing enough energy or power, you can use your rechargeable battery. That is what energy storage is required. Then power distribution. So like each and every component, different components will be there in your satellite. So each component requires some particular amount of power. So accordingly, you have to do the power distribution. Then finally, you have to regulate and control. Sometimes you require more power, or you can say more voltage. Sometimes you require less voltage. So that you have to regulate and control. So that comes under the power regulation and control. Okay, so you can see here one video is playing here. So here solar panel deployment. So now the solar panel deployment is happening. So now how this solar panel deploy, because now solar panel is not working, it is just going to deploy. So how it is going to deploy, for that we require some power. So for that we have additional power system, that is what rechargeable battery is there. We will be having additionally some rechargeable battery. With the help of that, we are going to deploy the your solar panel. Till the that solar panel has been not deployed, you will be using your rechargeable battery. Once solar panel has deployed, you can use your solar panel as a major source of energy. Okay, Next, types of batteries. So basically, you have like when we are talking about the space and terrestrial purpose. Okay, so previously, like if you're talking about many days before, so we'll be using like lead acid battery, that is for only terrestrial use. Nickel cadmium battery, if you're talking about both terrestrial and space. Terrestrial means like you will be going to like rover. You launch some rover like on the moon surface. So surface is like what? Very like it's what zigzag you can say, right? So there you require more power. Okay, so in that case you can use, that is what you can say, you can call as terrestrial, like your surface is irregular. So in that case, when you are, suppose your rover is moving, so it required more power. So in that case, you can use your nickel cadmium battery, like terrestrial purpose, and as well as space means, suppose in space you are going to operate the satellite from the ground. So for that case also, like that is also can say as a terrestrial means from the ground you are operating your satellite. So from for that also power source is required. So for that that battery will be there. So that is terrestrial purpose. Then space means in space your satellite is going. So it will be capturing the data like camera is. So camera requires some power. So for that we require some battery or maybe some power. So that is the space use you can say. Then nickel hydrogen battery like only for space use. Nickel metal hydride that is for terrestrial. And then lithium ion is the nowadays actually basically we are using, that is the best one. So here now you can ask like nickel, cadmium, and lithium ion battery. So we have like a terrestrial and space use, right? So if you compare nickel, cadmium, and lithium ion battery, so we are basically now preferring lithium ion. But both can use for terrestrial and space. So why we are preferring lithium ion? Why we are not preferring nickel, cadmium? So here I will explain you in this slide. You can see one graph, so you will get that why we are using lithium ion, because lithium ion we can use for terrestrial and space purpose, and we can use our nickel cadmium battery also for terrestrial and space purpose. But why we are going preferring lithium ion, like if you are talking about your mobile phone also, in that also your lithium ion battery will be there, right? So now here why it is, so the thing is when we are launching a satellite, okay, so everybody want, if we are launching a satellite, it said it should work for long duration, long time, long period of time, right? So if you are talking about nickel cadmium, its life is rechargeable, nickel cadmium rechargeable battery, its life span is very less. Okay, and if you are talking about your like nickel like your ion lithium ion battery, so it will be almost 15 years, so you can use for long span of long duration of time, on long span of time. Okay, so because of that time period you can use for long time, so that's why we are preferring lithium ion. And another is like discharging rate. So here you can see like in the graph we have four colors: pink, green, blue, and red. So here like it's this different color represent different companies battery. Okay, like pink if you are talking about, so it is Malco. Blue you are talking about Shaft. Green is LG, and Sony red one. So now here if you look at initially like x-axis is there, y-axis. So x-axis is depth of discharge and y-axis is cell voltage. Okay, so here like when you are talking about this vertical axis, so when initially when my discharge was zero, my means my battery is full charge. On that time that battery is red battery, if you are talking about, it is 4.1 volt. When you are talking about green, that green color, it is 4.0. When you are talking about pink and blue, it is almost 3.9. Okay, so the thing is initially when it is 100 like it is not discharged, it is 100% charge. So you can see red having the high voltage 4.1. But when this battery is totally discharged, this red that companies, the Sony, blue, and that green and that pink, when it is 100% discharged, so you can see that pink one you can focus it. So when the battery is fully discharged, 100% is discharged, so it will be having some voltage. See here the thing is you should understand that 100% battery has discharged, it's not mean it's having zero voltage. It having some, it will be having after that also some voltage. Okay, so here like pink, if you see pink has discharged 100%, but after discharging 100% it having the voltage of 3.1. And if you're talking about green and blue, it having 3. And if you are talking about red, it is having 100. So pink is still, when it has 100% discharge, it having almost 3.1 voltage. So pink one is the better one. So the thing is here we have to look. Suppose if I am giving you 4 battery, I will ask which battery is better. So you have to decide based on the percentage of or depth of discharge. Okay, like nowadays, suppose if you purchase mobile and previously also, so you will see like some mobile at 20% it will indicate that your battery is low. Some mobile it will show like at 15% when battery will reach it will show like indication your battery logo will become red and say low battery. Some mobile will say at 10% it is low. So that is the thing, that is the range. Okay, like 20% if it is showing low means now you should put your battery at charge. Okay, you should not use. But what we do, After 20% it is showing low battery also, will we keep on using that, right? We should not do that, because that is the indication of that 20% it has reached, means there is a your almost you can say 100% like it is discharge. So you should not go 20% less than that. So when it is showing indication of discharge like the 20%, you should leave your mobile and put on charging. You should not use uh, after the 20%. If you, in your mobile, if it is showing, if in case if it is showing 15%, so 15% if it is showing low, so you should put your mobile on charging. You should not use. So that is the indication. Okay, below that if it is going, you should means what will happen will say my battery has dead. So that is happen because of that. You will be using like indication is like 20% showing low battery, but you are keeping using. Like some person will be playing games, right? So they won't see that at all. They'll be keep on playing if battery is showing 5% also. Some person will be using at 0% also. Okay, so we should not do that. In mobile, if it is saying 20%, 50%, and 10%, at that time, what you should use, you should stop to use and you should put charging. And duration of charging also, you should not use a mobile. What will happen if you use and if you go below the 20%, if it is showing low battery, your battery life is going to be reduced. Okay, so the performance of the battery is going to be reduced. So you have to be uh, you have to uh, you have to do like that. Okay, then satellite power system. So how it will work? So like satellite power system, so you'll be having main power source like solar panel. From there power will be coming, then we'll be having some energy storage like for backup plan. So we'll be having rechargeable battery like lithium ions or nickel cadmium you can say. And then finally it will be transferring to the load, like whatever the payloads will be there, whatever the requirement of the power will be there, according to that it is going to be transferred. So this is what, if you look at here, this is what our power system block diagram. This is how in the satellite your power system works. So first you will be having solar panel. From there that solar panel is getting that light energy from the sun. It is falling onto that, and then it is converting into the electrical energy. Okay, and that is actually your DC power. Okay, DC current you can say. DC you will be getting from the solar panel. You will be getting the direct current. Okay, now whatever the power you will be getting from the solar panel, it is irregular, means it is not proper. So in order to make it proper and in order to make it like regular. Okay, so we are using here next to solar panel is Zener diode. Okay, so diode is one kind of semiconductor. Okay, so what it will do, it will give the like voltage regulation. Okay, voltage regulation, and it will whatever the power we are getting from the solar panel, it will make it regular. It will not be regular. Okay, so and it will give the like direction, unidirection. Okay, diode what it will do, it will give the current, whatever the flow will be there, that will be unidirection, in which in one direction only. Like if you're talking about your, like suppose you put your mobile on charging. Okay, so your mobile will be getting charged. Now suppose your power off, cut off. Okay, power gone. So what will happen? Your mobile will not get charged, right? Now what can happen now that whatever the battery is there, maybe whatever the power is there in battery, that power maybe start to go to the your what your mobile charger, means flow will start in opposite direction. First your mobile was charging, means your voltage was going from charger which you connected from the that socket. Okay, it is going from there to your mobile battery. Now power cut off means what will happen? Sometime that current will start to travel, or your voltage will start to travel from mobile to the charger. So that should not happen. So that is what, because of diode, if you fix the diode, it will not allow to do that. So when you are charging, on that time your battery will charge. When power cut off means, and charger is connected your plug, right? So it that current is not going to the charger. So that is what here Zener diode we have. Okay, then after that we will be having whatever energy, that electrical energy, that is going to be boost with the help of boost converter. Then we have the battery charger. Okay, so here you can see battery pack is there for that like our backup plan, rechargeable battery. And then adjacent of that we have the voltage sensor. So I said we have to do the balancing of the charging, right, battery. So for that we require voltage sensor. So it will keep on checking that how much percentage of voltage battery is charged, and how much percentage it has to be charged or not. So we can see the discharging and charging of that percentage. Okay, so that is for voltage sensor. And then you can see here antenna deployment, then RBF and DS. So RBF means remove before flight, and DS means deployment switch. So like before the flight we have to remove the switch, and then finally when that we are able to get that enough power, so what will happen, we have to press that deployment switch, we have to on. Now it is off, we have to on. And then parallelly you have to on your RBF, remove before flight. And then what will happen, your antenna through which your communication is going to be happen, antenna is going to deploy. So once the antenna of the satellite deployed, so what will happen, your communication will start. So what will happen from here, you have different loads, like you'll be having sensor, you'll be having camera. So power will start to, like it will go to the buck converter. From there, what what reason, like different loads will be there. So one load will require some power, another load will require some amount of power, different power will be required. So according to whatever the power is required, according to that power will go to the particular load, particular sensor or particular camera. Okay, so with the help of buck converter, which region required how much power, it will go according to that. So we'll be having load protection. You can see load protection before the payload, like you have temperature sensor. You can see that cream color, right? They have mentioned, right, brown color. So like gyroscope is there, temperature sensor is there, then like you have vi sensor. So the thing is here, some certain amount of power voltage is required, that much only has to be go. So we have load protection, how much is required, it will send that much only. Then here you can see, like at the top, oc, optical communication. So this is the communication reason. Then you have transceiver. Transceiver is nothing but transmitter plus receiver. Okay, then tnc, terminal load controller. So terminal load controller means, like here you will be having like uplink and downlink. Okay, and so many like voltage is going, so how much voltage is required for that communication. Okay, so that will take care about the terminal your node controller. Then hpa, like high power amplifier. So the thing is, like how much power is required, so that much power has to be go to the communication part. Like you will be having like downlink. Actually you will be having one uplink and one will be having downlink. Uplink means signal is coming from the ground to the satellite. Downlink means signal is going from a satellite to the ground. Okay, so that is what uplink and downlink. When signal is going, communication happening from satellite to the ground, so that is downlink. So for downlink, how much power is required, so that will spa is going to take care about that. Okay, then lna, low noise amplifier. So when like you will be having that rf system, right, radio frequency system. So there is a like noise will be there because of that uh, will be giving some power to the RF system. So because of that, sound will be there, some noise will be there. So because of that, whatever our communication is there, whatever the amplitude is there for that, that should not affect because of the noises. So we can, what we can do, we can reduce that noise with the help of low noise amplifier LNA. And then finally what will happen, this is what your communication part. So all the data is going to capture, and then finally through the telecommand and telemetry, your data is going to transfer to the ground. So this is what your power system block diagram. So this is how your power system. You can see this, like very many things are there, right? This looks like one map, like your street near to your area, like this. So it's like many things is consist of, right? So this is how your wired electronic power system looks like. So you can see here batteries there, right? Lithium ion battery, okay, and many of the components. Fine. So now telemetry, telecommand, if you're talking about, so we have ASCII code, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So in that, like how you are writing in your programming, that HTML, right, hypertext markup language, that HTML, you are writing like tags, right? So like that, it will be coming like mission name, then mission time, attitude, pressure, temperature, like that tags will be there. So this is called as ASCII code. So in the like this only you are going to get your information maybe on the screen, whatever will be there on your ground. Okay, so you will be using tags. Okay, so this is what your ASCII code, which comes under your telemetry and telecommand. Okay, then once you have done all the things, you have designed your satellite and every systems and subsystem, you have to pass through the some test. So testing of satellite, like you have to go to the microscopic inspection. So you have to check like whatever the your circuit diagram is there. Like here you can see I'm carrying like uh, so here you can see like I'm carrying here like one satellite. Okay, it's like you can say it is ADCS board is there and communication board. So here like a circuit will be there. Okay, so we have to check that any breakage is there or not. Okay, or like my component capacitor will be there, resistor will be there, diodes will be there. So that is like while we are fixing, maybe it will damage. So that had damaged or not. So that all comes under like visual microscopic inspection. When you pass through that, then you have to go to thermal test. Like what is the operating temperature for my satellite? Like what is the maximum temperature will be? What is the minimum temperature? In between what we can operate our satellite. So we'll be having some kind of oval machine, right? Oven machine is there, right? So in that, like you'll put your cake and you prepare the cake. Same like that, one machine will be there. Like you can see in the screen. Okay, so we'll be putting that our satellite inside to that, and we'll be keeping our satellite for some certain duration, and we'll be changing the temperature inside of that cabin. Okay, chamber. So then after that, we'll be looking into that any change has come or not because of that thermal, that variation of the temperature. So like before going for thermal test, we'll be doing some kind of boot loading, and we'll be checking. We'll be going to check that we'll be getting proper data or not. Okay, and if we are getting proper data, so after the thermal test, we'll do again the boot loading. We will be connecting with our system, and then we'll be applying some backside some programming will be there. Okay, so my sensors are giving correct values or not. Okay, so after the thermal test, like it has passed to the various temperatures range, right? So is there any variation in the values before the thermal test and after the thermal test? If any variation, we can check the how much variation. So we can take as a tolerance plus minus. Okay. Then vibration test, like we have lot of many things in that, right? So and surrounding we will be having, maybe surrounding also will be having many of the vibration. Because of that, what will happen? Whatever the readings will be getting, will be having fluctuation. So we can see that how much my satellite structure, that vibration, like at microscopic level it can sustain. So for that we have to pass through the vibration test. Then we have sensor test, data handling test, power system test, algorithm test. Okay, so sensor means it is giving correct value or not. Okay, then data handling means my that data whatever going to capture by the satellite. Okay, so that is what is the rate of that transferring rate, and it is like it is able to carry or not, or any data is missing, so that all the data you have to handle. Power system is each and every component, whatever the power is required, that is getting that much amount of power or not, so that one we have to go for. Then algorithm test. So algorithm test means that coding background will be working, so that is what the thing. Okay, right. Okay, hello ma'am. Hello. Hello ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, how much time I have? Actually, I have to go for rocket now. So, how much time I have to speak? Almost. Hello.
Wait, sir.
Hello. Actually, I'm trying to finish on time, but it will take like I have to go fast, but I'm going somewhat a bit slow. How much time I have, ma'am?
I'm not sure the time left for you, but
Like
um,
we have to go for quiz and answer questions. So, according to that, how much time I have? 5 minutes or 10 minutes like that. Can you tell me so accordingly I can move now, because I'm going
Sir, you,
somewhat bit slow.
sir, you can take 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
So
Okay,
today
okay,
we
okay.
have
Thank you, sir.
2 hour session.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay,
2 hour session today.
okay, okay. Okay. Okay, so next, when we have passed through all the tests, my satellite is ready to launch. Now the thing is, we have launched also our satellite. So as we know, everything having some life, right? Everything having, like we itself, human also having some 100 year of life like that. So satellite also having some life, like 5 year, maybe 8 year, maybe 3 year. Okay, so after that, what will happen to the satellite? So it will become inactive. So we say like the satellite which is working is still working after the launch, or we have launched now. So that is what we called as active satellite. Apart from that, which the satellite for which the lifetime has been over, okay, and which is not working. So that we called as inactive satellite. So now the thing is, these inactive satellite we also called as space debris. So now the thing is, this inactive satellite may be harmful for other satellite which is now, I mean, is still working. Maybe it will collide with them. So what the thing is, now there another we have another research area like NASA and other Indian Space Research Organization. They are working on that. How we can remove this debris, like inactive satellite, because maybe they can collide with active satellite. So what will happen? That active satellite also there is a collision, so it will split into number of pieces. In active satellite, it's not working okay, but active satellite also will fully it will get what it will break. So what will happen? That small particle that may be harmful for other satellite also. So a lot of garbage is going to be collected. So how we can remove that? Means like we can bring that inactive satellite to back to the Earth, or maybe we can take back to the into the space. Means we can send that to outer space. So there is a research is going on. You can also think that what we can do, so we can bring our satellite back, like which is for which the life is going to be over, or maybe get over. Okay, like one of the example I'm giving, you can search this like Scout attempt. This is one of the debris satellite which is almost launched 50 years back. Okay, 1960 something it has launched. Now it is there is no use. It is simply revolving around the Earth, and slowly it is going close to the Earth. Okay, so that is Scout depth. So this is debris. So what is happening? This may collide with some satellite. Okay, so what will happen? That the satellite which is active, that will also what fully it will break, right? So what we have to do, we have to think over to that, like how we can remove this debris or this inactive satellite. So it may will not harm the satellite which is still working, like active satellite. Okay. Okay, fine. Now our next topic, like as I said, last one is rocket. Okay, so what is rocket? So like rocket is like a one kind of vehicle. Like if you want to travel, we use bus, right? We use car, our own vehicle. We use cycle, we use motorcycle, right? So to go one from one place to another. But suppose if you want to go from Earth to space, like some other planet, or suppose we have satellite, we want to put this into one orbit. So what we need some vehicle. So that vehicle you can say as a rocket or launch vehicle. Okay. So what is rocket? Rocket is a spacecraft or projectile that obtains thrust from a rocket engine. Means your rocket will be moving. Like what rocket will be doing? You will be having it will be carrying satellite and it will be taking the satellite from Earth surface to the some height. Okay. So rocket is a vehicle to launch the satellite, or you can say it is one kind of projectile. Okay, in which the rocket engine will be generating the thrust. As you know, thrust what is? I taught you about that, right? Thrust to drag, lift, weight. So thrust is upward, like forward force, which will help to move the rocket in the forward direction. Okay. Okay, rocket principle. So rocket principle basically works on Newton's third law. Action reaction means every action having equal and opposite reaction. So what will happen? That fire will happen. So fire will come out from the nozzle with high velocity. So what will happen? It will be going down. So that is action. Now what will happen? The same amount of like that fire is going with very high velocity downstairs. So you have one force in down direction. So we will be having from the Newton's third law reaction. So same amount of force will be acting on the rocket. So rocket will go in upward direction. So basically, your rocket works based on Newton's third law. Okay. Now, basic components of rocket. So when you are talking about rocket, so you'll be having basic components as like a nose cone. Then you will be having fuel and oxidizer. So this fuel and oxidizer we call as a propellant. Okay. So you can say propellant. Then frame. Okay. You have to protect your rocket from the outer atmosphere, right? Then pump will be there, like that will be taking your fuel to the combustion chamber. Then nozzle through which your hot gases will be coming out, and then it is going to expand, and then high velocity gases, high temperature gases is coming, going to expand, and your force will generate in the your action will be there in terms of force in downward direction. So reaction will be in upward, same amount of force. So rocket will take off. Okay. So this part from fuel to you can say like your fin. This called propulsion system. Then at the top you will be putting your payload. That is what your satellite, that is payload system. Then guidance, where it is going, that path, tracking that path. Or entire, if you're talking about, that is called structural system. Okay. So propellant, I said like fuel and oxidizer. Okay. So like as you know, like a simple example, like in your schoolings, you have might did this. You take one candle and light up that candle, and then you put one glass over to that. What will happen? After some time, it will off. Why? Because of the absence of oxygen. So your fire will occur in the presence of oxygen only. So here you can say fuel is like one kind of the candle, and oxidizer is nothing but oxygen. So oxidizer, what it will do? It will help to burn the fuel. So that is what fuel and oxidizer. Now here, based on fuel and oxidizer, we have three types of rockets. Okay, like solid propellant rocket, liquid propellant rocket, and hybrid propellant rocket. Okay, solid means we'll be having fuel and oxidizer, right? That propellant. So both will be in, like what we'll be doing, we'll be mixing. Both will be in solid form, and will be mixing in a single grain. Like one single grain will be there, and both will be mixed together, and that will be in the solid form. Like fuel and oxidizer, both will be in solid form, and both will mix together, and one grain will be formed. So that is what solid propellant. Liquid propellant means like both will be fuel and oxidizer. We will be having two tank. So one tank will be carrying like oxidizer, one tank will be carrying fuel. So if fuel and oxidizer both will be in liquid form, we call it as liquid propellant. So in that we have cryogenic, semi-cryogenic, and hypergolic. So cryogenic means like here, like that is what we have focus for fuel and oxidizer. So cryogenic is one of the technology I'll be discussing about that. So we'll be going to carry the gas in the form of liquid, like you will have like liquid oxygen and hydrogen. So means like normally if you're talking about like 0 degree centigrade or 25 degree centigrade, your hydrogen and oxygen will be in the gas form. But we want hydrogen and oxygen in the liquid form. So we have to go almost negative temperature, like minus 253 degrees centigrade or minus 80 degree. Like if you're talking about your like a liquid oxygen, like okay, so you have to go almost minus 250 degree. And if you're talking about no, like if you're talking about liquid hydrogen, so you have to go almost minus 250 degree. Okay, then only your hydrogen gas will convert into the your liquid form. And if you want your oxygen that is in gas form to convert into the like solid form, okay, like gas form into liquid form, sorry, gas form to liquid form. So for that you have to go for almost minus 80 degrees centigrade. Okay, so the thing is you have to go to the negative temperature. So that technology, like how we can make that gas into liquid form, because at normal temperature like 25 degree or 30 degree centigrade, hydrogen and oxygen will be in the gas form. So now we have to convert into the liquid form. So we have to lower the temperature. So your hydrogen, the hydrogen gas will be almost minus 250 degree centigrade only. It will be in the liquid form. Your oxygen gas, it will be almost minus 80 degree. It will be in liquid form. So we have to do so that technology like called as cryogenic technology, and that like semi cryogenic if you're talking about. So like it will be like sometime your liquid oxidizer will be there, so that will be having the like more lower temperature, and fuel like I said like your liquid hydrogen, right? So liquid hydrogen is going to be used as a fuel, so that will be going for like less temperature. Okay, so like that will be having semi cryogenic, then hypergolic. Okay, so liquid propellant rocket engine basically means your fuel and oxidizer both will be in the liquid form. Okay, so basically in this we'll be using like a liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen as a fuel and liquid oxygen as a oxidizer. Okay, then hybrid means one will be solid form, one will be in liquid form. Okay, so generally what we prefer, fuel should be in solid form, and your oxidizer will be in liquid form. You can take the vice versa also, but generally we prefer that because that is more comfortable. Okay, because burning a liquid fuel is much somewhat difficult, but burning a solid fuel is quite easy. So burning should happen easily. Okay, so that is what. So like as I said, Space Zone India is going to launch 150 pico satellite this year. Okay, so for that we'll be using hybrid rocket only. Means my fuel is going to be like a solid form, and oxygen is going to be liquid form. Okay, so let's not take more time. Okay, so components of solid propellant. So we'll be having nose cone, casing, insulation layer, propellant, igniter, and nozzle. Okay, so how the solid propellant works? So we'll be having like a igniter. So it will generate the spark with the help of electrical signals. Then we have solid grain that will burn, and then finally what will happen? Hot gases will come out from the nozzle, and then finally it will that force is generating in the backward action. So what will happen? Then a reaction will happen, and my rocket will go in the forward action. That is how your solid propellant rocket works. So advantage means it is simple in design and construction, and less vibration will be there. Disadvantage if you're talking about, so like one disadvantage is like once you burn the fuel. Now in the case of solid propellant rocket, once you burn the fuel, you cannot stop that. When it will finish it, then only you can. So you don't have the control over to the burning of the fuel. You cannot control. And if you're talking about application, so you can use for like it basically previously like in the olden days, like when the war was happened, on the time basically on the early days we are using that solid only. So in military and boosters will be having, okay, in the rocket. So booster means it will be a small rockets which will be giving the additional thrust, like used as strap on booster. So for that case we'll be using like solid. Okay, so types of solid propellant means double base will be there, then composite will be there. Okay, fine. So I'm going quite fast because I think I'm exceeding with the time. Then components of liquid propellant. So we'll be having nose cone, casing, fuel and oxidizer tank, turbo pump. So here turbo pump is extra. In solid propellant rocket, turbo pump won't be there, and tank won't be there. In the combustion chamber itself, we'll be having the fuel and oxidizer. But here we have to carry that liquid because both will be in liquid form, fuel and oxidizer. So we have separate tank, fuel tank and oxidizer tank. Then we need fuel control valve because that what will happen with the help of turbo pump, we'll be taking fuel and oxidizer to the combustion chamber, and there what will happen, we'll be having the injector. Okay, injector what it will do, it will convert my fuel and oxidizer that will into the droplet forms, and then for what will happen, we have igniter. So igniter will generate the spark, and then finally combustion will take place, and through the nozzle my gases are going to be expelled. So you can see here working principle of liquid propellant rocket. So we have turbo pump. So with the help of turbo pump, fuel and oxidizer is going to take to the injector, and in injector what will happen, that it will convert, that injector will convert that fuel and oxidizer into the small droplets, and then we have the like igniter which will generate the spark, and fire will occur, and then hot gases will expand from the nozzle, and it will generate some action force. So opposite to that, rocket will move. That is what my reaction. So advantage means combustion process are controllable. Means here you can control it because we have flow control valve. So we can control the that process. Once the fuel burn, we can stop also. But in case of solid, we cannot do that. And it is somewhat economical. And disadvantage, if you are talking about, it is somewhat complicated in construction, and manufacturing cost is high, and size and weight of the engine is like somewhat as compared to solid is like what more. Okay, So here fuel and oxidizer will be having like kerosene, like fuels. If you're talking about, you have kerosene, alcohol, hydrogen, and oxidizer. If you're talking about like liquid oxygen or liquid fluorine, nitrous tetra oxide. Okay, so these are the some of the oxidizer which we'll be using in liquid propellant. Then hybrid problem is component will be nose cone, casing, oxidizer tank, fuel tank, turbo pump will be there. Okay. Then flow control valve, combustion chamber, fuel injector, and igniter and nozzle. So here we'll be having only one tank, either fuel tank or oxidizer tank. So when we are talking about fuel will be in solid form, so we require only one tank. That is what for carrying oxidizer. Okay. So hybrid means fuel will be in solid form or my oxidizer will be in liquid form. So this is the process for what will happen with the help of turbo pump. Liquid oxidizer is going to like here my fuel will be inside the combustion chamber. The solid grain you can see black color. It is inside the combustion chamber. So now here fuel is that oxidizer is going to send into the with the help of turbo pump. It is going into the combustion chamber where we'll be having like control valve. So with the help of that we'll be controlling the flow of oxidizer, and then inside the combustion chamber we'll be having the igniter, okay, which will generate the spark with the help of electrical signal. And finally what will happen, that fire combustion takes place, and then from the nozzle that hot gases are going to be come out, and then your rocket will move in the forward direction. So this is how your hybrid propellant rocket works. So these are the advantages. It is simple in design, safer, low cost, and thrust throttling over both like solid propellant. So we have control, like we have control valve, right? So we can control over to the thrust generation. Disadvantage means some residual propellant usually left. So we cannot use fully whatever the propellant are there inside that, like oxidizer. Some of the propellant will be left inside the tank, or you can say inside the combustion chamber, and difficult to relight. Okay. Then types of hybrid propellant, if you're talking about, so we'll be having like liquid hydrogen and okay, you can say, and then polyethylene is there, acrylics is there, cross link ribble is there, then STPP is there, like hydroxyl butadiene something will be there, right? Like hydroxyl terminated polybutadiene, STPP. So that will be in the form of fuel will be there. That is solid form. Okay. And then if you're talking about oxidizer, so we'll be having like liquid oxygen. So generally you can say like liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. And as a if you're talking about fuel, so it may be like STPP, that solid form. Okay. So these are the types of hybrid propellants you can see here. Then types of launch vehicles of India, if you're talking about. So history, if you're talking about, so we have SLV, ASLV, satellite launch vehicle, SLV and ASLV, augmented satellite launch vehicle. And at present, which are in operation, you can say PSLV, GSLV, and GSLV MK3. So GSLV MK3 is a version of GSLV only. So in GSLV we have two, GSLV MK2 Mark 2 and Mark 3. So actually GSLV Mark 2 is the Russian version. So we have learned the technology from the Russia, and we bring some engine from the Russia, and we have done the research on that. Then India has developed its own that cryogenic, actually you can say, engine. So that is what we say as a GSLV MK3. Okay. Then sounding rocket means if you want to launch our satellite at lower altitude. So we cannot prefer go for like PSLV and GSLV. GSLV it costs a lot when we are launching. So for lower altitude, there is no use of for using PSLV or GSLV. So we can go for sounding rocket for low altitude. Like we are going to launch, right? That will be like that is like that only. Like it will be for lower altitude, like 10 kilometer. Okay. Then future plan, that is what RLBTD, reusable. Like SpaceX, how it is doing, we can reuse, right? So India is working on that. So that is what RLBTD, reusable launch vehicle technology demonstration. So if you're talking about, you can see here SLV3. So SLV1, SLV2 was there. That was actually failure. So that's why it has not mentioned. So SLV3 means satellite launch vehicle, which was the first. It was the success one. So SLV3, it will be having like different stages. Okay, in rocket we'll be having different stages. Like actually, what we have to do if you want to go to out of the Earth atmosphere now, so we have to get the escape velocity. Means we have to overcome to the gravitational field of the your Earth. So that is what something 11 kilometer per second. So in order to achieve that velocity, we have to fire engine, okay, because with single engine we cannot achieve that velocity. Means in 1 second we have to go 11 kilometers, like that speed we required. Okay, so with the help of one engine we cannot achieve that velocity. So what we have to fire multiple engine, like one first we have to fire first engine. Then when the fuel of that fuel and oxidizer, the propellant finished for first engine, then we are going to fire for second engine, then third engine, fourth engine. So like that, we are going to fire our engine multiple times. So we'll be having like 4 engine, we'll be having 2 engine, we'll be having 3 engine. So like if you are talking about SLV, it will be having like basically four stages. Means you can say four stages means four engines. So one by one it will fire. So from first engine will fire, it will achieve some velocity. Then when the fuel of the first engine, fuel and oxidizer will finish, then second engine will fire. Like that, what will happen? It will achieve that escape velocity. So whatever the velocity we require, we can achieve. So SLV basically for like low Earth orbit, and it can carry up to 40 kg of satellites. Okay. Then ASLV is the advanced version of SLV, and then PSLV. It is having like four stages. PSLV having four stages, and if you are talking about ASLV having the five stages. Okay, five stages means five engines. So one by one it will fire. PSLV having like four stages. So first stage is solid, second is liquid, third is again solid, and fourth is again liquid. So like first engine is going to based on solid propellant, second engine is going to based on liquid propellant, third engine is going to based on work on solid, again fourth is going to work on based on your liquid. So that is what PSLV four stages there. Okay, solid, liquid, solid, liquid. Okay, and it can go up to like you have geostationary orbit, like up to 36,000 kilometers. If you want to launch satellite, you can use that. Okay, so it can carry like up to 1,860 kilogram. Okay, if you are going for polar orbit, but if you are going for geostationary orbit or geosynchronous orbit, it can carry up to 1300 kg of satellites. Okay, GSLV MK2, it is a Russian made. Okay, so it can carry up to 2200 kg, and GSLV having three stages, means three engine. So first will work based on solid, second will work based on liquid, and third will based on cryogenic. So cryogenic means it is a technology where we try to make our gases into the liquid form by taking into the lower temperature. So for liquid hydrogen, we require minus 250 degree. Means if you want to convert my hydrogen gas into liquid, we require almost minus 250 degree. For oxygen, it is required almost minus 80 degree. So that technology, how we can convert gas to liquid. So that is what cryogenic technology. So for that we require some setup. So India having that. So that is what third stage here we having cryogenic. Okay. So PSLV having like SLV having four stages, means four engine you can say. ASLV having five stages. PSLV having four stages. Solid, liquid, and SLV and ASLV all are solid. Okay. And apart from that, GSLV, if you are talking about it having three stages: solid, liquid, and cryogenic. So side, you can say side some small rocket. You can say that is as a booster. Okay, so in PSLV we have three variants like CA core alone. Then we have like XL extra large. In that extended six boosters will be there. That is solid form, like solid propellant will be there in that. And then normal PSLV in which only main engines will be there. Side rockets will not be there. Boosters won't be there. You can see here, right? A small rocket has been attached. That is what your booster. In GSLV, we have basically four strap-on motors, or you can say boosters, which will be run based on your liquid. Okay, so four liquid strap-on motors are there. So this is what India's rockets. Okay, and at present PSLV and GSLV in operation. Okay, so you can see this I have already explained. Okay, okay, so that is what all about for today's lecture. So I have tried to cover as much as possible, and as many as things related to drones and satellite and rockets. Okay, so at the last I would like to say that this entire effect what has done by IGP and our team, this entirely is dedicated to all of you. And at the last I will say, just keep on learning and keep on exploring yourself. Okay, thank you. And at the last, again, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to IGP team and Space Zone India that they have given me this great opportunity to share my knowledge, whatever I have, whatever the knowledge I have to share with the world. Because here, throughout the different countries, throughout the world, people has joined and they have listened to me. Okay, so thank you for that. Okay, so now over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Ishan Dubey, for that very interesting, very comprehensive topic of yours. I know you still a lot of information you want to tell us, but unfortunately our time is limited. So again, I appreciated that you have presented an aqua propellers and drones, and thank
Yes,
you
and
for making.
rocket, satellite, and drones. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for making your presentation as interactive as possible. Maybe the questions that appears on the screen can be noted and will be the takeaways of our viewers,
Yeah.
of our participants. And we are grateful to you for your marvelous presentation and giving us your valuable time. This session will be effective for our audience because you shared your intelligible knowledge with us. Thank you also to our participants for participating, and a special mention to Miss Anna Marie Joy Lecance for always being the first in answering the true or false question. And as your comment says, satellite is a machine, moon is a satellite, but satellite is okay, but satellite is the moon, she said. some of us use the word drone without actually knowing its acronym. Right? We to we used to say drone, drone, drone without actually knowing it. So, and we are hoping to build one, right? Ladies and gentlemen, all of us wanted to try flying a drone. And once again, let us send a virtual clap to Mr. Ishant. Please top the heart or any reaction. And thank you once again. Would you like to add more or say something, sir? Nothing?
So
Okay.
just I would like to add only one thing. You should always explore yourself. You should not limit yourself. Like you should learn each and everything. Like each and everything. Like I said, like drone examples. So drone is nothing about only one thing. It consists of mechanical part also. It consists of like aviation part also. It consists of mechanical. Okay, then only it become one drone, right? So you should focus on each and every field. You should grab some knowledge from each and every field. Okay, means the final conclusion what I will do, you should learn, you should explore yourself for each and every field. Okay, you should keep on exploring.
Okay, thank you. So we should keep on exploring. So before moving to the next part of our webinar, once again, I want to remind you all, please support us with your share, tag a comment, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also, www.lduigp.com. And after collecting your e-certificate, don't forget to celebrate with IGP by checking out our website. Okay, thank you again, sir. Now let's see your learnings through joining our quiz competition. And we are encouraging everyone to participate in the quiz competition. You can join through the link provided in the comment box. The technical working group will be sending you the link shortly. Okay, so I think we will no longer be having the quiz competition. So let's now proceed to the Q&A. So, is there any question to our participants? Mr. Eshan, are you excited to answer some questions or queries from our participants while waiting for the participants to type in their questions? Okay, so I'll be reading some questions that will appear on the screen. To our speaker from it, the question is from Jater J. Iman Subusab. To our speaker from the Taguig City University, Philippines, how will help the drones and other technologies that you mentioned from different calamities?
So difference is like if you are talking about like help that drones. So like a drone, as I said, like different applications are there. Like agriculture field, okay. So agriculture field like will be having different technology. So in the field of agriculture, like to helping the farmers. Okay, so in the agriculture fields we can utilize the drones. Okay, so like it is not competing with other technologies. Okay, it's about how we can make the things to make it easier. Like if you are talking about farmers, they get struggle to like pesticides. If they want to sprinkle the pesticides, so they have to spend lot of time and lot of energy. So in that case, like if you are using the drone, so it will be easier. now the thing like if you are ordering something, right? So that is what it will make easy. Like some person is coming, so it will be going to be fully machine based, right? So here you will be having lot of machine learning also, right? How you are going to operate, and how you are going to that if you are picking that parcel, how it will be going to one place to another. So that is the thing which you will be going to do. It's the thing is like here we are not going to compete with the other technology, or uh, we have different technologies, right? Like in the field of aerospace, if you're talking about, so defense sector is there, in health sector is there. So we are not going to compete with that. We are just going to do whatever the sector, whatever the technologies there, how we can utilize it in easy way. Whatever the possibilities are there, like drone, we can go for agriculture thing. Then defense also for surveillance sector is there. Okay. Then advertisement. If we do advertising, right? Advertisement having the more impact, right? What we see, people will try to people will try to approach. Like now you have joined here, right? That also through the advertisement also, right? Today you join this webinar, or you will be joining in future also. So that all the based on advertisement, right? So that is what advertisement also you can use drones in future. So that is how you can link your drones with other technologies.
Okay, thank you, sir. Another question from Bombang Judy Bagbiono. How about nuclear as move-in drone?
So for that, we cannot for that we have to build another technology, that is what anti-drone technology. So we'll be using basically like what fighter aircraft. So when you are going to design fighter aircraft, right? So it will cost a lot. So what you are going to do with the help of that, you'll be going to drop some nuclear bomb or something. You should not do that, but you'll be going to do that. So instead of that fighter aircraft, you can use drone, because building a drone it's cost less as compared to fighter drone if you are using for that. So I think I have clear your thing. So instead of that, you can use drone.
Thank you, sir. Is there any more question from our participants? Is there any more question? Okay, I think there's no question at all. So thank you again, sir, for that simultaneous question and answer. And I hope you enjoyed your time here at IGP and hope to see and hear more from you. Um, would you like to say something before we end this? Okay. Okay, thank you. So, dear knowledge seeker, I would love to thank you all from the deepest of my heart for attending today's session. Optimistically, you learned something new and you will implement it in your life. Please leave a review or recommendation on our page if you learned something or we helped you a little bit. Don't forget to collect e-certificate and give a check-in with IGP. By your check-in, we can understand our service and your attachment and pleasure. You can see on your screen the certification process, so you can log into your account at IGP website and use the code IGP3872 to get access to your certificate.
Dear participants, thank you all for giving your valuable time with us, and thank you our speaker for your valuable time sharing with us. Thank you, sir. So we hope we will
Thank you.
meet
Thank you.
together in another session in IGP platform.
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So shall we wind up?
Cheers, sir.
Shall we wind up, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me this great opportunity, sir. Thank you once again.